Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times. Today, as you can see by that very embarrassing thumbnail and by the title of this video, I'm here to show you the new movies that I have added to my collection.
It's coffee time.
So I have today 24 new movies to show you. The reason why is that I have been movie shopping a couple of times, and just yesterday I was at an event here in Germany. They happen fairly often. They're kind of like movie flea markets in a way, and you can find anything there, but those are the perfect spots to find especially obscure movies, horror movies in special editions and limited editions, and find like treasures and find movies out of print, like things like that. You can find nearly anything there, and you can also spend a lot of money there because it's just crazy the amount of movies that they have. As always, I will be showing you only close-ups from the Mediabooks and the Steelbooks because those are the really special editions that I think you guys would like to see a little bit more in detail. But let's start, shall we? So nearly everything that I have to show you here is horror, but this time I do have several movies that I just needed for the collection that are not horror. We're going to start, as always, with the DVDs. The first one is a science fiction movie from the late 90s. I believe it is from 1999, and it is based on a video game, and that is Wing Commander. So why did I buy this movie? Is this the best science fiction movie I've ever seen? No, but I absolutely love the cast and I love those older sci-fi movies, and I just decided why not, I will add it to the collection. This one I got secondhand for like, I think it was like €1, so it was nearly nothing. And like I said, I really love the cast. It gives me that kind of nostalgia vibe, and it is your typical, you know, Earth against aliens story. And it is based, like I said, on a video game franchise that was really popular, but don't expect it is the best movie ever. It's just some fun. The next movie is another one that I actually bought because I really like the cast, even though I know the movie is not the best, but it was also just €1, so I decided to pick it up for the collection, and that is The Skulls. And this is about Luke that is invited to this secret society in college and stuff, and like I said, this is not the best movie ever. It was actually bashed. Like, the critics did not like this at all, and it's not the best movie, but I enjoyed it when I watched it for what it was. And even though it was not, you know, praised or anything, it still got 2 sequels, like direct-to-video sequels. I have not watched the sequels, I gotta be honest, but I've been wanting to rewatch this one, so I decided to pick it up. The next one is a movie that I wanted to add to the collection that I didn't have, and that I also found at the secondhand store, and that is Machete. Now, this is one of those editions with the slipcover, and they released this with different characters on the cover. This store only had this one with Jessica Alba on the cover, so I decided to grab it, and it is just the regular DVDs, what you find inside, but I didn't have it, so I had to add it to the collection. And I remember when I went to see the Grindhouse movies from Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez in the cinema, I remember the trailer from Machete that came before the movie, and everybody loved that trailer so much that they decided to turn it into a movie. And I just love the idea. I just think Danny Trejo is always hilarious. I really enjoy to see him on screen, even though his movies tend to be not the greatest. But I don't know what's about him, I just enjoyed to see him on the screen. And from Machete, we go to a movie that was actually directed by Robert Rodriguez, and also it stars Quentin Tarantino, and that is From Dusk Till Dawn. I own a copy of part 2 and 3, but I realized I never picked up part 1, which is actually the best one, so I saw this copy on the second-hand store, so I decided to pick it up as well and add it to the collection. I've just seen this movie so many times that I didn't even know I didn't own it. So I decided to fix it, and now we have been able to add this to the collection. Next is a movie that I think I roughly own 12 times. This, I think, is the 13th copy of the movie that I own, if I'm not wrong, but who knows at this point. I have Hellboy. I mean, one of the vendors at this event yesterday, he is someone that I know from the Fantasy Film Fest, and he gave me a really good deal for this, and I told him, man, I already have this movie like 12 times. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have this one. And I'm like, I know, but do I really need another one? And at this point, you know, I was like, what the heck, let's just get it. So this is an English edition of the film. It comes with 3 different DVDs with the movie, extras, all of those good things. And it also comes with a little booklet. But all of these things I've shown you before, because this is a very similar edition to other ones that I own. So I feel like I don't have to show you everything. At some point, I guess I will update my Hellboy collection video. I did a Hellboy collection video where I show you all the movie editions that I own, the little bust, like the collectibles that I own. So if you want an updated video, I can do one. I don't think much has changed, but a couple of things have been added to the collection. Then I grabbed myself a copy of the original La Casa Muda, The Silent House. The movie is from 2010. It is an Uruguayan film, and in 2011 already got an American remake, but I do strongly recommend you to check out the original. It is based on what it's supposed to be a true story about a hunting in the 1940s, even though there has not been any like proof about it, but that's what it's supposed to be inspired on. And it is about these woman and her father that move into this house, and then, you know, there's noises. She starts to kind of get confused on what's real and what's not. It is a really interesting movie if you want to check it out. I think if you've watched already the American one, you should give this one a shot. So yeah, I just decided to add it to the collection because I found these new for $5, and I don't come across this movie often, so I decided just to pick it up for the collection. Time to jump to our Blu-rays. The first one is a non-horror movie, but I fell in love with this movie so much, and I want everyone to watch this movie because it's one of those comedies that has some horror in it that I absolutely loved and adored, and that is Palm Springs from 2020. This was an opener from the Fantasy Film Fest last year, and I just loved it so much. This is a movie basically about a wedding day and the guests from the wedding that end up trapped in a time loop. That's all I can tell you. And Andy Samberg, it is fantastic in this movie. The connection between the main characters is one of the things that I love the most about the film, and the time loop was just so well executed. It was fun. It was like so entertaining, and even though we're in a time loop, it never got boring. And I'm just dying to watch it again, honestly, since I saw it in the theater. And yeah, I just had to grab a copy. Next, I have a copy of Dark Skies. This is like a really beautiful kind of shiny cover, and I got this one for €2 secondhand, and I just decided to add it to the collection because this is one of those kind of science fiction movies that has a little bit of horror elements added to it. It's about a family that moves to a new neighborhood, and the family starts to feel like they might be the targets of some aliens, some invaders. It has received kind of good reviews in general. It's been so long since I watched it, probably since it came out in 2013, and I've been meaning to rewatch it to see if I still really enjoy the movie as much as I did back then. So I decided, why not, let's grab it, and hopefully soon I can give it a rewatch. So now I have for you guys a remake. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of remakes, to be honest. I tend not to enjoy them as much. But this remake I thought was fantastic, and that is Maniac. So I own the original. I still didn't own the remake, and I found it secondhand, so I decided to pick it up and finally add it to the collection. This is a remake from the 1980s movie. and I just thought it was so well done. Elijah Wood does such an amazing, fantastic job as our main character, our serial killer. And this movie is kind of disturbing, to be honest. It's not going to be for everybody. And I believe it was even banned in New Zealand because of the, you know, brutality of the film. So yeah, it is very intense. But it just felt so real when I watched it. It was like watching a real serial killer and following him. It was just so intimate and so gross at the same time. It was just so good. And this is another one that I haven't rewatched since I watched it back when it came out. So yeah, I'm happy that I was able to add it to the collection. Another movie that I found secondhand and decided to add to the collection is Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, and this is based on a book by Seth Graham Smith. And I do own the book and I read it back in the day, but I've never watched the movie. Now, I know that the author from the book did the screenplay for this and also was an executive producer, and also one of the other producers was Tim Burton. So I've been meaning to check it out, but I have not been in a rush because I don't have really high expectations for the movie, to be honest. But since I found it secondhand, I decided to add it to the collection. Then I picked up a movie that I have not watched, so this one I'm kind of taking a gamble on it. Don't have really high expectations, but I'm really intrigued, and that is The Afflicted, also known as Another American Crime. And it is about a mother's love that I think goes too far. It does star Kane Hodder, that we all know, you know, as Jason. So I don't know, I decided to give it a try because, like I said, I got it secondhand, I think for like €2. So I will check it out when I have the time and see if I like it. And the last movie that I have on Blu-ray is a movie that I'm aware is bad. I have not watched the movie, but I already know it's bad. And actually this I bought new for €1, which already tells you a lot, and that is The Zombie King. Why did I pick up this movie? Well, because it has Edward Furlong in it, and I just have such a soft spot for him because he's one of the actors that starred in a couple of movies that I've always loved from my childhood. So yeah, I decided to pick it up. He's the main character here, and after his wife dies, I think he tries to resurrect her with black magic, and then there is a zombie apocalypse or something like that. I don't have high expectations for this one. It also has Corey Feldman in it. We shall see. I think I'll just watch it one night when I'm just looking for something fun, for some giggles. If you guys watched it, please let me know down below how good or bad it is. So that was everything for regular editions. Now we're going to the special limited editions. I do have a bunch of steelbooks to show you, and I have 2 Mediabooks that are really special to me because I really enjoyed these 2 movies. And I feel like in one way or another, these 2 movies that I picked in Mediabook have some things in common. So I will explain that in a second. The first movie that I got in Mediabook is actually a movie that I already own a couple of times. We're not surprised here. It's not the first time it's happened. But I do not own this movie in 4K, and it has been now released in 4K in this beautiful Mediabook. There is, I think, cover A and B, so there are 2 different covers that you can get in Mediabook, and it was not cheap at all, but I love this movie so much. I rewatch this movie a couple of times every year, and I think by this point you guys know which movie I'm talking about, and that is The Cabin in the Woods. This one is an edition that comes with the regular Blu-ray and the 4K, and it is 1 out of 333 copies, so it is fairly limited, but I just had to have it. It's probably one of the movies I have rewatched the most, and I had to get this beautiful edition. I mean, the artwork alone, it's amazing, plus the fact that I'm gonna be able to watch it in 4K now, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. It is number 257 from 333 that they did. And as we all know from Mediabooks, we have the regular Blu-ray in one side, and here we have in this case the Blu-ray in 4K plus the booklet in the middle with some pictures, some info about the film, some interviews, all that good stuff. Everything is in German, but you guys know I speak German, so it's not really a big deal for me. And yeah, one of my absolute favorite horror movies. And the other media book that I have to show you is from a movie that I did review on my channel, but I feel like not many people talk about. And I also have seen that many people hated the movie, but I thought it was fantastic. I fell in love with it immediately, and I've been meaning to rewatch it because it was just so much fun, and that is The Furies. This movie came out in 2019. It was also one of the movies that I got to see at the Fantasy Film Fest, and the moment that I saw this movie, I fell in love with it. And why did I say that it had something in common with The Cabin in the Woods? It's because I felt like this movie took also many tropes from horror movies, specifically from slasher movies, and the movie was kind of aware that they were introducing all of these different tropes, but it gave us something fresh. It kind of made a little bit of fun of those tropes in a way, and I just absolutely loved it. This was such a fun slasher, and if you love good gore, you have to check this one out. The gore was in broad daylight, close-up camera, like in your face gore, and it was just so much fun. So if you're somebody that don't like gore, this one is not for you. But if you love slashers that get really intense, this one is a must watch for you. Here's the media book from The Furies. It's been so complicated to get my hands into this one, but I really wanted the media book because I enjoyed the movie so much. It even has different textures here on the blood. I love the pink lettering. It's just fantastic. Such a fun slasher. If you guys have not checked it out yet, you definitely have to. This is limited to 1,500 pieces, and it is a re-release of the media book after the first release was sold out super quickly. Love it. Look at our fighting girls. We have here on this side the DVD, and on this side we have the Blu-ray, and this is the cover that the original media book had, but like I said, it's sold out super quickly and is really hard to get, so I'm glad that I was able to snatch the re-release. And here we have some info on the movie, some pictures from it. It has all that you want in a fan slasher. We have different killers that resemble killers from other horror movies. So that's what I mean. This felt like a, you know, an ode to slasher movies, if you may, but with a twist, and absolutely loved it. We're now moving on to the Steelbooks, and I have a bunch of them, so let's start. The first one, I'm just gonna make it quick because it is another Hellboy. This is Hellboy 2. From Hellboy 2, I don't own so many copies, and I didn't own these Steelbook. I found it yesterday only for €8 at these kind of, you know, flea market for just like movie fans, so I decided to add it to the collection. Here is Hellboy 2, the Golden Army limited edition. They released some superhero movies in this kind of like comic cover edition. One of them was this one, so of course I had to add it for my collection from Hellboy movies. Here is how the inside looks like, and as you can see here also there's other movies that were released like Pitch Black, Van Helsing, Skull Pilgrim, etc. But I only wanted this specific one in this edition. Now, my partner and I are collecting all the superhero movies in Steelbook. We currently own all the Marvel movies in Steelbook, It has taken a little bit to get them all, but we finally have all of them. And now we're starting to take a look at the DC ones that we are missing. So now I have a bunch of DC movies to show you that we were able to find on Steelbook. The first one is Man of Steel with the one and only The Witcher, aka Henry Cavill. So the reason for picking it up, it's just because we really want to build a Steelbook collection of superhero movies. Call it OCD, call it whatever you want. So we are starting now to get all of the DC ones that we were missing, and we found this one at the flea market yesterday, new, sealed for 10 euros, so we decided to pick it up.
Here's Man of Steel, and I really like Henry as Superman. Now, this is a fairly simple Steelbook edition, but I did not own the Steelbook of this one, so I had to add it to the collection. And the inside is also very simple with the Blu-ray disc.
And then we also found Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, and this is a really cool Steelbook edition, and this one was 20, but we decided to pick it up because we really fell in love with the artwork.
This is the ultimate edition of the film, and I just fell in love with the artwork. You can remove this plastic sleeve. The artwork here is just stunning with Batman and then Superman with the false god graffiti. Love it so much. Here is the side also with a little bit of fire at the bottom, and here is the back. Pretty cool. And on the inside we have two Blu-rays, the regular one and the ultimate edition one.
Then I have two Steelbooks that I got from my partner for my birthday, kind of as early gifts because my birthday is not until the end of the month, but he decided to give me the Steelbooks already. And the first one is Wonder Woman 1984. Such a beautiful cover. I really loved the first movie. I still have not seen this one. The critics are not great, so I really don't have high expectations for the movie, but I still would like to watch it at some point and see what I think of it. But like I said, my expectations are fairly low after hearing people talking about it, saying how they didn't really enjoy it, but we needed it for the collection.
Wonder Woman 1984. This is such a stunning Steelbook. The way that the colors merge and the way that she's posed, I just absolutely love it so much. I don't know, like I said, if I'm gonna love the movie, but I do really like the design of this Steelbook. Now, this edition comes with 3 discs. We have the 4K, the 3D, and also underneath this one, we have the regular Blu-ray.
And the other one that I got as an early birthday present was Justice League, the Snyder Cut. And we didn't own the regular Justice League. I think it came out in 2017. But now that we have this one, we don't need the other one because we have here everything that we need. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch this cut because I still have not watched this. I think it's nearly 4 hours cut.
And another one for my DC collection, the Justice League Steelbook. This is the Snyder Cut, and I really am excited to sit down one day when I have time to watch the full cut that he intended to present. I'm so excited that he got to give us his cut. This edition is packed with discs. We have the Ultra HD 4K edition in disc 1 and 2, and then we have, of course, the regular Blu-ray, also disc 1 and 2.
Then there was a copy of a movie that I've been wanting for a long time, and I decided it was time to pick it up, and that is The Running Man. This is loosely inspired of a Stephen King novel by the same name, and it was written under the pen name of Richard Bachman, and it has, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, whom I absolutely love and adore. So I decided, why not get this beautiful, stunning copy of the film.
This could be perhaps one of the least known Schwarzenegger movies. At least you don't hear people mentioning this one so much. I really like this edition. It has this kind of sleeve cover that takes with it part of the design. When we remove the sleeve, we get Arnold, and this is the side and the back. Fairly simple though. On the inside, we find the movie in Blu-ray and a disc full of bonus content.
Then I have another kind of oldie, this one even older, from 1954. We have Creature of the Black Lagoon. They released these kind of new Steelbook collection a couple of years ago, I believe, and I got The Mummy, The Bride of Frankenstein, I got The Invisible Man, and The Wolfman, but I still didn't own Creature from the Black Lagoon, and this one was yesterday at the flea market only 10 euros, so I decided to pick it up because I really needed it for my Universal Monsters collection.
Another classic Universal Monster edition added to the collection. I'm so happy I started collecting these editions in Steelbook in black and white. I think they are just stunning. And here is the side. They all have the same lettering, so it helps with my OCD. And they all look kind of simple on the back as well. I really like these editions. On the inside, we have more artwork and the regular Blu-ray.
Also, I made a decision this year that I'm going to be hunting the Purge movies in Steelbook to add them to the collection. Despite not really enjoying the fifth movie, I still plan on getting the movies in Steelbook for the collection, and I was able to get one out of eBay. I finally got The Purge Anarchy, which is my favorite from the franchise, and I do own a copy of these in DVD that I will be now getting rid of, and I will replace it with the Blu-ray Steelbook for the collection.
One of my guilty pleasures, The Purge. This one is The Purge Anarchy, the Steelbook, which looks kind of simple here on the front, but I really like the back as well. The back is basically the cover of the regular DVD and Blu-ray editions. And here's how the inside looks like with our regular Blu-ray.
And the last two Steelbooks that I have to show you are really special to me because they are from a director that I really like, and I have been looking for these specific Steelbooks. I'm still missing a couple, but at least I have two from this specific collection, and these are John Carpenter movies. The first one is They Live. This is one of my absolute favorite movies. One of my favorites from John Carpenter, even though it's not horror per se. But this movie was just fantastic, and even if you watch it today, it can be applied to society nowadays as much as back in the day when it came out. I love this movie so much. I love the stupidly long fighting scene. Everything about this movie is just fantastic, and I've been meaning to pick these ones up. The problem that I had finding these is that in Germany, the John Carpenter movies have German titles, and I didn't want to own this with the German title. So in the flea market yesterday, I found this one. It is a French edition, but everything on the cover, on the back, everything is in English, so I had to grab it.
This is one of my absolute favorite editions of the John Carpenter movies, and I really needed to have these exact editions, so I'm so happy that I was able to snatch them. I just love the design so much. It is kind of simple, but just so pretty, and I love that they are kind of giving each movie a different color. Obviously for this one they chose the color pink because of the bubblegum, perhaps. We have here some of the words from the movie and the famous line about the bubblegum. And here's the side and the back, which is absolutely stunning, and it is something that could be still applied to today. On the inside we have three different discs. We have the movie in 4K, the regular edition, and we have also the bonus disc.
And the other one that I got is Prince of Darkness, which is part of the Apocalypse trilogy that John Carpenter did. And this one is also a French edition, so the cover, the title, the back, everything is in English, which is what I wanted. And I know there's a couple of other movies from John Carpenter in this Steelbook edition that match, so I'm going to be on the lookout for those in the future.
And last but not least, Prince of Darkness, the other John Carpenter movie. This time they chose the color green, which also makes a lot of sense for this specific movie. It always gives me kind of Exorcist vibes when I see this cover, and I absolutely love it. It also has a quote from the movie here. And I just love the design of these steelbooks so much. Just look at the back. It's just so simple and so beautiful. Whoever designed these, I mean, amazing. And inside, this one also has the same 3 different discs. We have the 4K Blu-ray, the regular Blu-ray, and also the extra content.
Alright you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this movie haul. I had so many movies to show you, like 24 movies again. I don't think it has been that long since my last movie haul, but I do have the feeling that I'm putting a lot more of, you know, effort to build up my horror book and movie collection lately, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm also finally cataloging my movies. I know I should have done this a long time ago. So now I have my Excel sheet on my phone that I can take with me whenever I go, and I can always quickly check not only if I have the movie, but what kind of edition do I have, if it's an extended cut or not. So I'm always ready whenever I am to get new movies to add to the collection, and I don't have to doubt anymore and ask myself if I have that or not. I know I should have done it a long time ago when you start growing a collection, but I never really did. And I feel like it was time now. So I'm still cataloging at the moment. I don't really have everything cataloged yet, but most of my horror is already, which is the, you know, bigger part of my collection, so that's a good start. So anyways you guys, I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If you do collect physical media, let me know what has been your last purchase. Also let me know what you thought about the movies that I picked up. Do you have also these editions where you live? Maybe these are editions that you had not seen before. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support, and I hope to see you all guys as always in our next coffee time. Bye.